Yeah, that's an understatement about me being down bad, man. Patrick Beverly, you know what? Thank you to Patrick Beverly. Let's start here because on a day where there was no playoff basketball, I don't know how much NHL there was tonight. Patrick Beverly supplied ESPN and social media with enough stuff to keep us going throughout today with all the slander he was throwing at the Suns. So let's dip into this Mavericks Suns series, man. And I want to start with a trade that happened in the midseason that silently might have just become one of the biggest trades in the last decade of basketball, which is Porzingis going to the Wizards, getting off of his contract. He wasn't really fitting in with Luka that well. They get back Spencer Dinwiddie and they get back Davi Bertans, two players who have had monster games this playoffs with their three-point shooting barrage. So Cam, let me let you you're gonna kill me this entire episode because you know with me and my former Porzingis take. Talk to me about that Porzingis trade and how much it helped the Mavs going into this playoff.
Yeah, absolutely. First of all, there was a point where you swore to me that Kristaps was better than Giannis. You are on record saying that.
A week before it, torn Achilles Kristaps, when he was about to be an all-star that year, he was an absolute two-way player, blocking everything, 7-3, putting 40 on you. Man, I miss those days, but they are far away from that guy today, man. Wow. KP, all those times, all his touches turned back into Luka or Brunson touches, gave him more space to operate with. In an underrated storyline that I learned is that Phoenix in 2018 hired Luka's Slovenian national team head coach, Igor Kokosov. A month later, they passed on Luka in the draft. So they had the coach who coached him. He probably told them, this guy's the real deal, and they passed on him. Well, where is he now? Igor is now on the Mavs coaching staff with front row seats watching this game seven as his team first fired him and didn't get him the player that he knew so well, man. But let's talk about Luka, because this is why we're here. This changed the way I think that everyone needs to view him. We're seeing that '07 LeBron run. His all-time playoff averages, these are nuts. 32.7 points a game, 9.3 boards, and 8.3 assists. He finished the series with more points than Booker, more rebounds than Ayton, more assists than Chris Paul, and more steals than a Defensive Player of the Year candidate, Mikal Bridges. And he's laughing after every bucket with Lil Wayne, who's the biggest CP fan, and all these Suns families who brought their kids out on that Sunday night to watch their team try and get that game seven. He took a ball home, and Dirk Nowitzki's laughing on the sideline. Cam, talk to me about that game and how embarrassing of a loss that was for the Phoenix Suns.
Yeah, I think you hit it right on the nose. I mean, we know exactly how special Luka is. I love that quote at the end of the game. By the way, a reporter asked Luka if he knew that he had the same amount of points at halftime as the Phoenix Suns did, and he laughed. He's like, "Of course I knew." And so like that's just awesome. I mean, we know how good he is, but we got to go back and give a little shout out to the rest of the Mavs, the way they've been playing. David Bertans in particular has probably one of my favorite nicknames of all time, the Latvian Laser. He was a lights out shooter, all played great the whole series. Jalen Brunson picked it up towards the end. He struggled a little bit, but he found a way. And Spencer D. Whittle, 30, I think he had 30 points last night, something like that. Great game from him. He shot well, shot the ball fantastic. Man, you got to think the Nets probably wish they didn't let him go at this point. But yeah, I mean, what else can you say about Luka? I think you're right. It was those early Braun runs when he didn't really have a lot of help and it was kind of just LeBron against the world. That's kind of what we're looking at right now. I don't think it'll be enough to get past Golden State in this next round, but I would not be surprised if we see Luka hoisting that Larry O'Brien trophy sooner rather than later.
Yeah, absolutely, man. That was well put. I wanted to add and ask you this question because the Mavericks have off-season moves that they can make. Right now, they're in the Western Conference Finals, which is crazy to even think about. But they have the option to extend Jalen Brunson, and they have the option to maybe even do some sign-in trades this season. If you're the Mavs GM going into this offseason, are you thinking, we have Luka, let's keep these guys and try to run it back? Or what I would personally do and try to still get that extra all-star to pair with Luka. I think he still needs somebody else if you want a perennial championship team.
Okay, I agree with you, and I'm gonna say this, but this is not what I want to happen. But from the perspective of a Mavs, if I was the Mavs GM, I'm throwing the absolute mortgage, a second mortgage on a different house. We're throwing the entire bank account at Zach Levine and trying to pair him with Luka. I think he would play. We already saw this season how great Zach Levine can play off the ball with DeMar kind of taking over that lead role in Chicago. As much as I'd hate to see him leave, we know how great Zach Levine is as a player. He's above 40% from three on about 6 to 7 attempts a game. Doesn't need the ball in his hands every time. I think he would flourish with Luka's playmaking, the way he plays above the rim as well. No slouch on the defensive end either. I think Zach Levine and Luka would play very well together. I really don't hope it happens because I want him in Chicago. But as the Mavs GM, that's what I do. I'm not sure about Jalen Brunson. I know how good he is, but you got to remember. I mean, we've learned somebody's going to offer Jalen Brunson more money than I think he's worth to pay at this moment. I'm not saying he's not a great player. We know how good he is, and he's had a fantastic playoff run in all two of the series he's played so far. And I really enjoy watching him play. But I don't think you sign Jalen Brunson to an extension just because of how much money he's going to get. Is he could probably secure a bag with another team that won't be competitive. So if he takes less money to stay with the Mavericks and run it back with Luka, then I think that's the only way you can keep him. Now, one more thing about Jalen Brunson, and I know you hate that when I bring this up, but he was a 4-year player at Villanova, and Villanova is known for their coaching schemes. I watched him in college. He was always great in college. He fell a little bit on the draft boards due to he's kind of undersized for his position, and NBA scouts weren't really sure if his game would transfer to the next level with the way he scores. But we're seeing that's obviously not the case. But how much better can Jalen Brunson get from this point right here? I mean, I'm not saying he can't get better. He definitely could. But he's as a 4-year player at Villanova, his ceiling may not be as high as some of these other younger guys can be, and I think that does hurt his contract going forward, which is why I don't think he'll be a Dallas Maverick next season.
Yeah, there's two sides of the spectrum when we talk about player-driven sports media. You have Pat Bev putting on his Timberlands, waking up at 4 o'clock, brushing his teeth with coffee, and then going out on First Take and just slandering Chris Paul for really. He was on Get Up, he was on First Take, he was on This Just In. He did the entire ESPN runway for that time. But I think the opposite side of the spectrum is JJ Reddick, and he really broke down why the Mavs won that series. And he was saying they were trapping Devin Booker the second he did any of these P&Rs. Whenever CP did a P&R, they're late switching, they're trapping and blitzing, and it all comes back to this. And this is where I'll start the J apology, because sadly, this takes some time to actually go through how wrong I was about all of this. Let's start off with JJ Reddick saying the Phoenix Suns have one of the worst shot profiles in the modern NBA. What 3 types of shots do you want as an NBA team? You want 3-pointers, you want free throws, and you want layups. Those are the 3 types of shots that you want. The Phoenix Suns rank bottom 5 in the regular season in 3-point attempts and free throw attempts. And in the playoffs, they're 15th out of 16th in the league in 3-point attempts. They just don't generate enough pressure on the rim to create 3-point opportunities. So Cam, I'll toss it to you real quick. You can bask in your glory. Man,
I was about to say it's kind of weird how 3 out of the 4 teams that are left are top 5 in 3-point efficiency this season. Weird how that works, and how with Golden State, Boston, and Miami was number 1 this season actually in 3-point efficiency. But it's weird how the teams that are the best 3-point shooters are the ones that are still in the playoffs. I know that's got to sting a little bit, but I mean, I think one more thing about JJ Reddick, his podcast is great. I think he does a really great job of breaking it down compared to Pat Bev. But yeah, I mean, you're exactly right. The Suns can't. You hate mid range, but mid range is why the Suns lost. If you hate is in the playoffs, I mean, the game slows down, and you do have to take more mid range shots. I'm not saying that, but if you're not shooting the threes enough, especially against a great shooting team the way Dallas was playing last night, you're gonna get done. And CP 0 rings is gonna stay with 0 rings, unfortunately. Especially that quote from last season did not age well. He's like, now that I got a taste of the finals, I'm addicted to it. Yeah, that did not age
freezing
well.
cold takes, freezing cold takes.